started with, Dear Christine, Dear Christopher, blah, blah, blah. This final one says, Christopher Menz. I received your email finally today, and I found it to be quite insulting. However, I should thank you for the reminder, over the years I had forgotten, of Melbourne's small-minded provincialism, one of the reasons I had left in the first place. I am withdrawing my application for the Antarctic Fellowship, as the idea of exhibiting the results of my research to an Australian audience has now become quite revolting to me. Please do not answer this email.
I love that. I can't. Please do not answer this email. It's... the referring to him just by his name, everything is. Do you think, like, was she drunk when she wrote that? Was she sitting? Was she sitting at home? Did she take time to craft that? Did she call you to help with the editing?
Sounds like it came right from her heart.
Well, this one definitely did. Previous emails, like, I had to heavily edit it because, it was like, you still need to get a shot at this fellowship. But yeah, no, this last one was pure rage.
Now, some of your stories as well that I heard before that I think a lot of people would appreciate is not just about your mom, because there is a fair question to ask, are moms or any of us just a separate unit to our family, and the entirety of our family, whether it's our fathers and our cousins and our uncles and aunties. I personally feel like my family is pretty much Game of Thrones kind of feeling. My mom is one of 10, my dad is one of 6.
If you were a Game of Thrones character, who would you be?
My God, if I was a Game of Thrones character, either I would be already dead, or I would be Daenerys, or gotta be either dead or the one that will burn everyone. I think I really relate to Daenerys with the dragons and fire and Dracarys. Sometimes I really feel like when people talk to me, I just want to say Dracarys and then see them burning to death. But maybe that's also for another episode. But yeah, I feel like families, there's all these politics for families. For example, when my parents decided to get divorced 3 years ago, and my auntie sent us the day before they went to get the divorce with the ceremony with the rabbis, she sent me and all my siblings, I'm one of 4, copy-pasted a message that said, we have to stop your parents from getting a divorce and all of the reasons, you shouldn't break a family. And I was like, dude, they've been married 20 years longer than what they should have been. They're both sad and really want to be free. But she was like, no, they have to stay together, and messaged all of us. And I feel like there's this... So my mom is one of 10. There's obviously bigger context to that, to any behavior. So do you have any influences?
I don't even know where to start. Okay, well, let's go quite literal about politics and family, but literal politics. The very last Christmas family dinner, extended family dinner that I was ever invited to was when I was 16. This is in the south of France, very large family dinners, 30 people. You sit down at a table at, 11 a.m. and you only leave once the 7 courses have been eaten and you are sloshed, etc. So you really need to choose who you're sitting next to quite well, because otherwise you're fucked.
Just stuck.
Yeah. And so this time around, I was known to be the left-wing person in the family. I arrive, and I think it was my great aunt who said, Max, you need to be calm and not talk about politics too much this year, because your fucking, second cousin twice removed or whatever is bringing his girlfriend for the first time, and she's part of the fascist party.
Okay.
Good. So, anyway, again, 16 years old and fiery.
It's nice to have a broad church, just a good smattering of opinions across the table.
Oh, yeah. And so, I basically eventually reached an agreement and said, just put me at the other end of the table from her and we won't interact. And then I won't have to
I have a feeling that...
political.
I just have a gut feeling that you did interact at the end.
I was provoked. I think I like to think.
I just want to remind everyone we're talking to a Sagittarius, okay? So a lot of things are provocations to you guys.
Well, okay, so somewhere between...
Are we defending the fascist girlfriend here?
I don't know, listen, let's hear her out. Let's see what she has to say.
Correct. You can make your own decision based on that.
As my mom told me after uncle said that gay people are abomination, should be murdered, she said everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Oh my gosh.
She apologized.
This safe bubble that we have called family. Go on. So, wait,
Yeah.
what happened?
So
Did you react?
somewhere between the third main course and the first dessert, there were less people at the table because people were going to have a smoke or clean the table, whatever. So I started overhearing what she was actually saying, which was basically she had a solution to end the war on terror, and that would be to
Always good when people say that.
put a bullet through every male Muslim baby at birth, right? And so again, quite drunk at this stage I was, but I look
That's
around
awful.
being like, so is no one going to say anything? Because I'm not meant to say anything. And everyone was pushing their peas in their plate, trying to pretend like nothing had happened. Look, I don't completely remember what I said, because I was, one, very drunk, but also two, you know that when you get into a white rage and you just blank.
Where was your mother? She would have said something.
No, because she was already out
the
of the
dogs.
table. No, because it's also, she's born on the 24th of December, so that was her birthday, and she hates my dad's family, and it's quite reciprocated. So she was, any occasion for her to not be at the table, she would take. Anyway, but yeah, so I heard that line. I remember that I threw my plate against the wall. That's the first thing that I did.
The peas went everywhere.
I don't remember what I said, but by the end of my rant, I was standing on the table in front of this woman screaming, Hezbollah! Hezbollah! And yeah, I was never invited back to family dinner. Apparently I was violent, and I was like, I'm terribly sorry for your plate, but I genuinely did not advocate for genocide, so I don't know where the violence
Do you
is.
think they were more angry that you were fighting with her or that you broke their plate?
No, I didn't make her feel welcome. Meanwhile, my mum loved it because that meant that she didn't have to go back to her step-family.
And she gets to hang out with you if you're around and you're not going too.
So which character would you be from Game of Thrones?
Oh, God, probably... I don't know if I am that character, but I would love to be... What's his name? The eunuch, who's the spy master?
Oh, Varys. Lord Varys.
Lord Varys.
He's an interesting
Just
one.
because he's bald. No. Yeah, I think he has his own agenda and he's quite analytical, which I find
Which
quite
it sounds
attractive.
like you were when you were standing on the table screaming Hezbollah and smashing the plate. Very, deep in reflection.
Absolutely. No regrets.
I just love how French your examples have been and how kind of Israeli, Moroccan, Jewish your examples have been.
Sure.
Like you're talking about a 6-course meal where everyone's drunk, eating cheese and meat and
I will say the food was always
yeah,
delicious.
the food sounded immaculate. I would like to go blow by blow, with what you ate and your.
I do want to say in my mom's defense that as a Capricorn, she started by obviously not accepting me being gay, but the second she shifted, it was all in. There wasn't an in-between process. It was you're not gay, you're not gay, you're not gay, you're not gay, you're gay, and you have all the rights in the world. That was the transition. And now being the strong Capricorn woman that she is, if someone makes even the slightest homophobic comment, she will take a picture of them and post and shame them on Facebook. That's although someone knocked on her door once, because I live in this small town, and said, I heard your son is gay and I heard that you're very supportive, so I really wanted to tell you that this is an abomination and you shouldn't, and what lesson are you teaching your younger children? And she literally slammed the door and said I wish your kids to be as good as my son and fuck off. So she really went a long way.
Yeah.
Went all the way. She wasn't backwards in coming forwards.
She was never backwards in coming forward.
So when I came out to my mum, I first came out to my mum when I was 16.
Well, you first came out when you were born and she was convinced that you were a girl and didn't accept all of the doctors, including your father, who was a doctor, telling her no. This is a boy.
Because she was she's also a staunch, at least originally second-wave feminist. Now she's getting a bit better. But she was no, I am a woman. I have a woman's body. There is absolutely no way in hell that I have a male inside of me. I know this to be true. So fuck everyone, fuck science, basically. No, but so the first time I actually came out to her when I was 16, I had just discovered what queer theory was, or at least I thought I had. So I came to my parents and I was like, how do you know you're a man? How do you know you're a woman? Gender is a social construct, you know, like just very bad understanding.
I
of
just
queer
knew
theory.
I just knew I liked the Britney video for Slave for You. I didn't know anything about queer theories.
But then my mum promptly forgot about that, right? And so I had to come out to her about 15 times. Each time I mentioned something about, you know, kissing a boy or whatever, and she was like, wait, what? You're gay? I didn't know that. I was like, I told you. No, you didn't. I have nothing against it. But
How can you shut me out this way?
Exactly. And yeah, and so she would, and she denies this now, of course. But the only reason I think the only switch in her mind to like, oh no, my son is queer, is when I started writing a PhD about queer stuff, because then it has some sort of, you know, cultural capital attached to it. And so now she's very proud of her queer son. She told me last night on the phone, she told me that she uses my queerness as a icebreaker at dinner parties where she feels bored. She just says, oh, my son is queer. Not gay, queer. Like, deal with that.
Wow. And again, dinner parties. Like, so French.
Yeah.
Bored at dinner parties. I love it. Wow. And so now she's kind of quite comfortable with it and she's using it. That's great.
Yeah, I feel like the commonality here in all of the mum stories is how little agency I have.
Yes. You're very secondary to all of it. Wow. Max, we could go on forever exploring what has made you you and your mother and everything she's about. Itai as well, your mum. Like, what a powerhouse of a woman. We could explore so much more.
We could.
But I think that's all we can do for today.
That's all for today. Pick up your phone. Maybe send a message to your mom. Maybe just think about your mom and appreciate that she gave you life. And
she can take it.
She gave you life and you need to pay for that. Don't forget that.
Yeah, tell your mum that you love her in spite, despite, and because of everything that she's ever done to you.
Oh, that's such a beautiful message. I wish this was a Christmas show. It would be a perfect Christmas podcast. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Max, for joining us as a special guest.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you again for the next episode of Astrology Roast.